I was in an Uber the other day, or a Lyft, actually, on the way to the Elvis Costello concert.
Ooh.
And we started talking, and of course, it always opens with traffic because he has to explain why he's going the stupid way.
You don't ever...
And so we talked about something, and it ended up with him going, man, being an adult sucks. Which is not really what you want to hear from the person who holds your life in his hands very much. I'm having surgery next week. I don't want to hear that from the surgeon before I go.
That is a very odd thing to say.
Yeah.
Because you should not say anything in that situation that could indicate you may commit suicide, you may swerve, you don't care enough about the driving.
Right. And I'm sitting there going, well, it's not so bad for me. I've got a guy driving me to a concert.
But so, did he explain, or you didn't allow him to explain?
No, it was just general malaise. But then he also followed it up with, so what do you think is wrong with Trump? Like 10 minutes later.
You mean like
he's like,
trying to figure it out?
Yeah, he was really trying to sort of figure it out, it seemed like.
Oh, boy. See, that's the problem right there.
And he himself was an immigrant. I'm not sure from where, but clearly from his accent he was. But he's like, I think he has some, good points with this immigration thing. And I'm like, well,
God,
and literally I did like a 5-minute spiel of like, yes, I believe we're a country of laws, but blah, blah, blah.
You get a 5-minute spiel?
We also are a country of, compassion and, if, just because the first wave of people who came here were white doesn't mean that that's what we are defined by as immigrants,
It seems logical to the whites.
And no, I think I swayed him.
Really?
Yeah, no, he wasn't very big pro-Trump. He literally just didn't know. He was like, people really seem to hate this guy. I'm not entirely sure why. He kind of wanted to know. So I think I was actually persuasive to him.
That is good.
Because then he asked like, I don't pay a lot of attention. Like, what happens if who's the vice president?
Oh, then you know.
Well, you're not good at being an adult. That's probably, that's why you hate it.
He's not even in the, it'd be one thing if he was saying it sucks being an adult. He's not participating in any of the events that would indicate that. So. And maybe you just said that. And I repeated it.
You recapped.
Am I a color commentator?
You were. You were Dandy Don.
This guy, this guy, he thought anything but.
I just love the halts.
Anything.
Have you ever seen Charles Barkley's golf swing?
I hear it's the worst thing in the world. I have seen it.
It has these weird yippee stops in it. It's like that's like when you're trying to do an impression the first time. You go.
When you see Charles Barkley like that, you do feel as if he's a horrible athlete. You say to yourself, he's one of the greatest basketball players in the world. But that just shows you, I don't know what it shows you exactly, but I used to think athletes were good across the board. Like,
like skilled at everything.
Or pretty much.
Golf is a great equalizer.
It is the great equalizer because it does not work that way.
It is. There's no, even the greatest golfers suck some days.
I think it's the stupidest. No, I'm kidding. I like the sport. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of golf defenders coming right.
No, it's any sport. I think I've said this to you before, and I'll say it again. Bowling, after the first game, I'm done. My arm's falling off.
Yeah.
Pool, just the concentration on it and not doing well after I concentrate.
Right.
Bored after the first game. That's what happens. Tends to happen to me with these sports.
Yeah.
Well, and what was the third? What was the sport we were talking about?
Golf.
Oh, yeah, golf. Now, miniature golf was fun, but golf. But Susan wants to play. Maybe I'll play one day. Why don't I learn? Because I'm not doing anything else.
You shouldn't.
I'm not doing anything else.
No, but it's dumb. It's a dumb thing to take up.
You know what I'd like to take up? And maybe you would be there with me on this. I'd like to go to the goddamn batting cage since I now know how to hit.
I would go to the batting cage with you just because I feel like it would be sort of hilarity I would miss out on if I said
I've never been to a batting. I mean,
really?
I was one.
We got one right down the way.
Oh, I forgot when I was with the Yankees. I don't brag well.
When you went to fantasy camp.
With the Yankees. How come I don't brag well? It makes it worse, my bragging.
It makes it worse when it's a lie. When there's when there's something funny, when there's something true there, you can kind of find that little piece of accomplishment that you can grab onto as a listener.
Well, Lucky is eating as if Lucky's in a radio play about a dog eating.
She really
I heard chimes going on.
She was providing her own Foley.
Now you go. I think you're supposed to leave food around for the dogs.
That's one approach.
Oh, okay. So, well, based on that, they'll eat it all at once, or so that's just a myth. It's an urban myth.
Well, it's everyone. You know what? There's no book. There's no. We do it that way just because they're more self-monitoring about it. They never were dogs that would like snarf it all down. Like big dogs will do that. Big dogs will.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So I never realized that the size of the dog was not literally true.
But it's not really a big issue. They don't overeat their dry food. What they overeat is the stuff we add to it to make it attractive to them.
Oh, have you told me the story that you spend time in your goddamn life for these? They should be happy to get whatever you give them. And you're in there going, "Oh, let me get some turmeric and some paprika." No.
No, they live well.
They do live well. First of all, nobody loves their dogs more than you do.
It's, I think people probably do, but no one healthy does.
I don't know why. Look, just know if you're a listener of the show, I'm guilty of hyperbole.
You are the most guilty of hyperbole of anybody who's ever walked the planet.
You could ever. Did you get that book about procrastination I sent you? No?
Yeah, I got it early. I pre-ordered it.
Oh, no, but you haven't read it yet, right?
Yeah, I did.
The anti-jokes. We're the anti-jokers. And
no, we're not. See what I did? See what I didn't?
Wasn't that Penn and Teller's thing once? We're going to, we all...
They were the anti-magicians.
Yes.
Which is a worthy thing to be.
But why?
Because magicians have a long history of being the laziest motherfuckers in the performance world.
But like Ricky Jay, who died, and I don't think you had anything to do with it. God rest his soul. And I loved him, and I actually saw one of his shows.
I saw him interview David Mamet at Largo.
How long ago was that?
5 years.
And was that no politics though?
No, it wasn't about politics.
Yeah, but he's turned.
Yeah, I know
I don't know. He's not like a Dennis Miller though. He's a person who came into the game with a brain.
Yeah.
And so I just think something happened to him.
He'll back up his harebrained positions with an essay or two at least.
He will?
Yeah.
Is he as verbose as Scott Adams says? You know who that guy is?
I do, yes. We might have
gone into him.
I think we went into him on the show we didn't lose. Speaking of which.
What happened?
This is actually test show 83B. Because we recorded test show 83 last week, and when I went to edit it, it just wasn't there. It was there, but it was a corrupted file that just couldn't be saved. So at least not with my skill set. So we're back.
We're back,
at
baby.
Test Show 83. Now we've lost our gap week, so we're really right back on our 1 week ahead schedule now.
Oh,
which feels good.
It does feel good because I don't like being too far ahead of myself.
But we should recap.
Yes.
Just because last week's show ended up being before Thanksgiving.
Was it taped after Thanksgiving?
It was taped before Thanksgiving.
You can't. What?
Well, no, the one last week, the one we lost was after.
Okay, got it.
So I'm just saying, let's fill people in on how was Thanksgiving.
Oh my God!
You went to New York. You did your shows. You sold out at least one of those shows.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't know any of this.
Right. That's my point.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. So you mean they don't know? I don't want to go through the whole panic attack thing again, but I can do it.
You should.
I should.
Bit.
Okay.
People you won't get as many questions this time.
Okay, so there's two ways of doing this. One way is to enjoy it and relate the stories. The other way is to tick it off like a list of...
I'd say make it a well-told story.
Yeah.
I'll act interested.
All right, so what happened is that I flew into New York Tuesday night and jet lagged. And then I started to get nervous on Thanksgiving. I started to get like a panic attack, but not a panic attack. Every time I say this, it makes me very angry because I've had full on panic attacks where I thought I was going to die.
I think meltdown. Let's just call it a meltdown.
It's a meltdown implies that I'm yelling at people. The first night,
not to me, but
the first night, when everyone comes to the house for the night before Thanksgiving, and it's a lot of fun. It's a tradition.
It's like pre-Thanksgiving.
Pre-Thanksgiving, yeah.
Okay, all right.
And so my brother's coming in with Emily, and Emily just had a kid, and the baby's in the car, and so he calls to have me order the meal, and then I start to get that I'm not going to get this right. And
Okay.
and the restaurant also, this restaurant, which is in Queens, is I've been going to since I was a little kid.
Okay.
And I love this restaurant.
So you don't want to ruin it for you by screwing up on the phone.
No, but they're one of these restaurants. My friend Bill Kaufman, my ex-county partner, used to make fun of this place that was right by where he worked in Torrance, and it was like a hamburger place. And every time he'd say, "How long is it going to be?" he would ask them and 5 men, my friend, no matter what it was.
All right.
And so 5 men. So they do this thing at this restaurant in Queens where they tell you it's going to be a half hour after a huge order,
right?
And it's never a half hour, and they always mess up the orders. But now they had to mess up the order because I know I messed up the order.
Okay.
I still see eggplant rollatini in my nightmares.
Right.
So I almost got mad at the family
for putting this on you.
And
thinking Andy's the guy for this job.
Yeah, and then my brother was kind of like needling me the way he knows how to.
Right.
Did Andy get the order right? Whatever the thing was. And then I was afraid everyone was going to start yelling at me. So
Mom, why don't you order it? I have Parkinson's. Okay, Mom.
Oh, my mom. Oh, she loves when I make her do the OG Parkinson's thing. So then I go to the family at my brother's house, and
how was the order screwed up? Or
yes,
okay,
it was.
Like badly? Did anyone go hungry?
Some things, for example, that weren't no, nobody went hungry. Right. Some things that weren't ordered did not show up.
Okay, and you were blamed, or you?
Yeah, well, I blamed myself. I apologized for my earlier. See, my whole thing is my whole life. I go back east. I think I'm in charge of the whole family's happiness,
right.
And the world's happiness.
Right.
And I'm not saying that as a hero. I'm saying that it's ultimately a narcissistic, negative thing to do.
Right.
So I always
actually think you have the power to bring happiness to a happiness void.
Right, which is what Trump thinks he can do. Well, no, he thinks he can he doesn't bring happiness.
No, but he really thinks that if people just paid attention, they would all love him.
I'm starting to think that there's not much rhyme or reason to why he's crazy. He's just really a horrible sickness. Anyway, so then I go there, and then okay, so on is that what you asked me about the food, right?
Okay, so the food was fucked up, but it wasn't they didn't make a big thing out of it.
No, it wasn't. No, nobody made a big thing out of it,
and we didn't talk about the food last week, by the way. So this is all fresh material.
Oh, we didn't.
No.
Oh, okay.
We just know that you, in general, had a.
Yeah, so I was starting to stress out, and I'm afraid of everyone in my family's anger. And it's not that they can't get angry; it's that we're all scared of anger, and we weren't allowed to be angry as children, which is why I love that. We didn't talk about the Mr. Rogers thing, right?
The movie?
Yeah. Did they get lost?
I don't know. I can't remember, but
but the Mr. Rogers thing is like. I was blubbering as Jan Kirkman was blubbering. I was blubbering, and I said I out-blubbered her on the plane.
All right.
But there's that part where he says that he wasn't allowed to be – not he doesn't say it, his wife said that they weren't allowed to have anger as a kid. And that's really what resonates with me. And they also didn't have unconditional love, which I think a lot of kids don't. You had. Yeah,
and I never liked Mr. Rogers.
Right.
Because he didn't fill a void for me.
Yeah, because
I was all like, why the fuck didn't he change his shoes and sweater before the show? He knew he was doing a show. Every day he does this.
Yeah, well,
and it was on after Sesame Street, and it had puppets whose mouths didn't move, which was like such a letdown.
Well, yeah, but neither one of those shows did it for me. I
was in prime Sesame Street age.
Right, but you were, I think, a couple of years older than Mr. Rogers, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
And I didn't know anything about him.
But I totally see, as an adult, I completely see what he did and why it's valuable and why, the feelings that he supplied for kids that weren't being supplied to them in their regular life were huge and important.
And also it's important for every single person. And when you go to therapy, this is what you at some point learn is what you didn't get is what you need to give to yourself, which is you are perfect. And it's not. I don't know if the word's perfect. You are. Maybe he does say you're perfect the way you are.
Yeah.
You know. And so
started perfect. It's a good.
Yeah.
It's a good opening bid, at least. You know?
Yeah, you're accepted. You are accepted, and you're you know, and you don't have to be different to be loved.
Right.
And
you
then,
deserve love as you are.
And he has that puppet called Daniel, which he says. Goes one time he says,
I love you, Andy.
Oh my God! Don't you start, but you'll have me.
You're perfect the way you are.
Now you sound like Chucky.
You can't do no wrong.
No, that sounds like that's like
I didn't watch. I hated it.
That's like that. But he says in this one thing with another actor, he goes, "I think I'm a mistake." And so the other actor in this thing is trying to convince him he's not a mistake.
Right.
But just the fact that he knew that kids felt that way, and he knew that that can't be. That's like separating kids at the border.
How could you be a mistake? You were part of a litter. It doesn't make any sense, little.
Well, it wasn't Groucho. It wasn't a Groucho puppet like me.
It wasn't like a little tiger though.
Yeah, it was a little tiger.
Yeah.
It was. So, and also that.
So were you bawling on the way there or the way back?
Yeah, crying on the way there.
So you were primed. Your pump was primed for like, oh, I just got reminded of how unhealthy my childhood was.
Yeah, but again, like I say, my mother shouldn't listen to this one.
Right.
But I said I would never talk about. I never wanted to talk about my parents until they were dead. Boy, I said that a little bit. But now I realize I can't. You know, my mom could live to 130, so I have to be able to talk about these things.
I think you should.
Because
does your mom listen? Has she ever listened?
No, she doesn't listen to this crap.
Does she know it exists?
She does know it exists. She does know it exists.
Okay.
But if it's not, my mother.
What about your brother and sister? Do they listen?
I don't think they listen either. I think but we haven't said. I have vowed not to say anything on this show that would be
violating.
Well, I don't know.
I'm not gonna vow. You're the one who said you vow.
No, I don't want to do one of these things that you hear all the time where, like, you know, Howard Stern or whoever McEnroe writes a book and his ex-wife hates him for the rest of his. I don't want that.
No, I
that
don't
kind
either.
of a thing.
I don't either.
So, but I can reveal because
I felt bad about saying bad things about my Mystery Science experience last week. I felt like people feel.
Now, hold on a second. Now, is that lost?
I mean, the last show that aired.
Oh.
I'm talking about. I'm pretending like it never existed now. Like last week is the last show that.
Oh, okay.
That's where we talked about.
But do we ever
the 30th anniversary of?
But we haven't talked about me seeing your acting, right?
No.
And that was excellent.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that because I'm not. You were on fire, but we had another talk about something about acting in general, where you kind of texted me and don't snow the snowman.
We'll talk.
Don't
about
snow
that.
How are you gonna remember? I won't remember that. You'll remember that?
Yeah. No,
okay.
It's a big topic.
Okay. Don't snow the snowman. Okay. So when I went to Thanksgiving Day to my brother's house, I just started to get very panicked, and also my wife had to drive, and my mother is just forget about it. When she's in the car, it's like don't say. It says to take the Throgs Neck Bridge because the Whitestone Bridge is backed up. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Mom, it's saying all Google Maps, Waze. A guy named Ernie I called, who lives by the Cross Bronx. A chopper 12. But it's just, she is so rigid. And I'm like that. I mean, it's like, I'm not like her, but it's something to think about when you get older, that you get more and more rigid.
Right.
And so we were already on edge by the time we got to my brother's house, and I just felt panicky all day long. And I was also telling people I was panicky all day long. And then it just hit me.
And you would think that would actually, that could take it either way. That could accelerate it or off gas it some, but. Well,
yeah, I mean, calling attention to it, even in the midst of a bad acid trip, I've been able to somewhat joke with myself.
Right.
But, so humor will sometimes cheer you up even when you're in horror.
But I assume that obviously, your brother's has it made, so he doesn't worry about anything. But, but I mean, I assume you're all on your own sort of journey of sorting all this shit out, so that when you come together, there has to be at least some compassion for one another. That it's hard to be here.
My brother was really great. In fact, he called me this week to see how I was doing with my panic.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, but he was going, look, when it's going on, you think it's never going to go away.
Right.
But That wasn't what it was I started to build up this case against my show in the city that I would like, the panic would never go away.
Right.
So I was worried that on the day of the show at Union Hall that I would talk myself into being scared. It doesn't work. So that's good.
Right. No, I mean, it seems
I wonder
like,
why that is. I bet you could.
The stage is like the fucking safest place you can be.
You think so?
In some ways, yeah.
Right.
You control the conversation.
Only if nausea
you get to decide how do you behave.
That's true. Unless nausea happens.
Yeah, but how has it?
I've never. My fears of what could happen on stage, having a heart attack, instant vomiting.
Right.
None of it's happened. But I have had things where, like,
the only time I ever came close to vomiting on stage was when, on my 21st birthday, I was headlining in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
On your birthday?
On my 21st birthday, and people were sending me, like, the club was sending me, like, tumblers of scotch on stage. And at one point, I kind of got that, because then the crowd was like, it was scotch, and the crowd was still like cheering me on to basically chug the scotch, and
you can die. This is a way kids don't realize that you can die from alcohol
I was like
poisoning.
300 pounds or some shit at that point.
well, so you could drink at that time.
I could, I'd been drinking for years at that point.
It's unbelievable. I don't see you as a drinker like at all.
I did most of my drinking before I was of legal drinking age.
Wow. And then how often did you get sick when you drank?
Not that much. I never, it wasn't my habit to drink to super drunk. It just wasn't. I wasn't.
Right.
I wasn't a binge drinker in general, but I did have tremendous tolerance. But there was a couple times I remember I discovered bed spins after a gig in Des Moines at the Spaghetti Works.
Well, they used to have at summer camp something called a Dizzy Izzy race, where you would go and put your head on a baseball bat, you'd run around.
Right.
What's the point of that? Why don't you just shoot the kids? Shoot them. I almost died. What's funny about seeing an 8-year-old?
No, it's actually fun watching videotapes of that with gunshot sound effects.
Did you have a lot of funniest videos sent in?
There were plenty of spinny Lizzies or whatever those are. Yeah, sure.
Why is it illegal?
I did. I did a bit on AFV once where it was like, look at the power of sound effects was basically the premise of the bit. And there was this kid who was a little, like a toddler sitting in a high chair, and he or she pours his milk onto the tray, and it forms a circle, so it looks like a pancake, basically, So we added griddle sounds to it. So when he pours it on, it's like, and then he puts his face down in it.
And so you're implying that a small child's face was burning?
Yes, I was.
That's funny.
It was funny.
Did you ever get letters? It's Dear AFV.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fights with the ABC Standard and Practice Department.
They were worried.
They were robust about that show. Yeah.
Oh, because it's always injuries and worried about that.
They were worried about, yes, they were
Don't do it at home.
about injuries, and then when I came along, they started worrying about jokes some too. So, because I was really trying to, like, can we make some comedy?
Yeah, you were trying to, yes, exactly. Like coma jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of CTE material.
Yes.
That's gotta hurt.
Well, the rule with hard hits was always you have to show the recovery.
Right. But why? Okay, here's the thing. I would like to do a show where they always say, don't worry, mothers.
Right.
The kid's okay.
Right.
I would like to have a show where you have those, but then you show really ones that you just can't stop laughing, and they do die at the end.
I agree. I'm with you.
I'm with me too on that. Maybe these kids shouldn't be.
I always thought that the only good parents were the ones who dropped the camera the instant after an impact with a kid, so you wouldn't see the recovery because.
Oh yeah, because they're having.
Because they cared about. They
care about their children.
Yes, and not getting the shot.
Every time you say something like that, I'll never forget how angry I was at my friend. In 1969, 13 years old, we were at a candlelight ceremony for to end the Vietnam War, and I'm walking with him, and I swear to God, he says, he does like one of these bits. Andy, not sure if I should tell you, but you're going to walk into a parking meter. And I walked full.
He timed it that.
Yeah, we timed it, and it felt that long. It felt like this, Andy. Without being didactic, I just wanted, and he allowed me to, as if I got my face punched by a parking meter. Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
It's pretty brilliant.
I said to him, I don't remember what I said. I can't even remember him. I think it was William Alexander.
I sense that you didn't appreciate the beauty of it.
Andy, not sure if I should bring this up at this particular time, but in about 3, 2, 1, boom.
Right.
How's that not funny, I guess, from his point of view?
Funny.
But also...
From every angle but yours, it's funny.
Well, I'm 13, so you know what the angle is.
You're 13?
I was 13.
Oh, okay. In this time, yeah.
So my head is at the head of the meter.
Ka-ching.
It's not like, oh, what's happening down there? That's annoying me.
As opposed to now where your head is.
Shut. It's not funny. I feel bad that I'm short.
Oh. Well, it'll serve you.
Did I tell you that I had, my penis has a tattoo on it? I don't want to do that joke again.
No? Huh.
Have you ever heard that joke?
Sure.
You have not.
I did. We heard it for
I don't believe it. I don't believe it because this one.
5 shows straight in the early
I don't
days.
believe it because this one goes a different way. I say I have shorties tattooed on my penis, and people go, "Oh, that's but I said when it gets hard, it says.
I'm settling in.
It says Shorty's Pizzeria. We deliver. Ask about our calzones. Also, adding our new Asian fusion menu. Do you need your car repainted? We're into that too.
Ortiz.
Who writes these jokes?
On penises.
On penises. Where did I see? Oh, there was a lot of penis humor in the Adam Sandler thing, but that's just a tease.
There was.
Which I didn't know was an area that you could get laughs from, referring to things as your penis.
Things and it's a frontier.
How backwards is our society? So then I didn't have the panic attack. I had a good show, and Amelia Fox showed up.
Nice. Other spiralers as well.
I think there were other spiralers, but
Amelia Fox posted about it. So.
Amelia Fox posted about it, and he even said to me, "Why didn't you bring up this podcast?" And I've said, I have material about podcasts. I should be able to bring it up every show.
Yeah, Alex narked you out to me too that you didn't mention the podcast.
Yeah, Alex. But we had a fun time hanging out with Alex, Andy, the great Andy Levy, Scott.
Andy Levy was there. Very nice. Yeah. Does he still listen?
Do you?
Or did he never listen? We just shouted out to him many.
Oh, I don't know. He went through. I know where he went through a time period where he wanted to withdraw from the internet.
Yeah,
which you can never.
Yeah.
Argue against that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he also is tired. I think he's tired of politics stuff.
Yeah,
which I don't blame him.
I don't either.
But I'll be working on his stuff. I don't know why I said that.
That's all right. Well, I had a good Thanksgiving. It was I cooked. Now
I want you all to know that we are recreating a conversation, and I just want to let you know
he doesn't remember.
I have no. I don't remember.
Perfect.
I remember myself saying, "And what did you prepare?" And then I don't even think I set it up that well.
No, I don't think so either. I think I probably had to do the same thing, which was just ask myself and then answer it.
Well, let me ask you this, because I can't make gravy, and I maintain there's no way to make a good gravy. The gravy's always awful unless you just get it from the Lawry's, packet.
Right.
Show me I'm wrong.
Well, I do a hybrid sort of thing.
You sound like me at a pitch.
Yeah. I do, like when I'm making everything during the day, I keep basically a stock pot going.
Ooh.
Where I do the turkey neck. I sear the turkey neck and get it all dark, and then I do a lot of chicken broth in it.
Oh, I thought I was talking to someone. You know what you're doing.
I put I put celery and onions that I didn't get used in the stuffing and stuff in there. So it sort of simmers and reduces all day, and then I start putting some turkey drippings in there as well, so it has a bunch of flavor.
Yeah.
And so what I do then is I get a dry mix. I think it's called, Better Than Gravy or whatever it's called. But it's just a dry mix.
Yeah.
And I substitute some of that liquid for the water.
Ah.
So you have the sort of surefire consistency of the gravy mix.
Right.
But you have some deeper flavors in there than
Yeah, and you've added a little bit of, what does Emerald say? Boom, bing, bang.
A little boom.
A little bang.
A little pow. A little zang. A little So that was all good.
And cranberry. You said something? I remember you made your own cranberry.
I do a good cranberry. I think a super easy cranberry thing. I should probably save that for next year now. Why give someone a cranberry recipe now?
Hey, don't mess with our future material about Thanksgiving.
That's right. So yeah, it was fun, and also the Mystery Science Theater comeback premiered. So I got lots of nice messages from people.
And I saw that.
You did.
I saw that last week during the break.
Right.
Of the show that we lost. If I had known that we would lose it, maybe I wouldn't have taken the break. And okay, so are we going to talk about both subjects now?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. All right.
Very funny.
Thank you.
Very funny. And Patton was in it.
Patton was in it. I didn't actually do the scene with him. We were different days, but so I didn't work with him, but we are in the scene talking to each other.
You don't want any mistake going on your resume where you say, I worked with Elvis Presley, because I was at a thing with the
No, my thing with Patton is still, he's playing my part, but I'm still younger than him. So I played it.
Is that literally true?
I played it 30 years ago. He plays it now. I'm still younger than him.
And that's true, right?
It is true.
Oh my God. You are the only young person left, I think.
That's right. I used to point that out, to like impress people, and now I point it out to show that I'm still viable in show business.
Right. So it worked both times. Yes. So you're in your you were 40?
47.
Oh my God. I don't ever want to see you turn 50.
But 30-year anniversary, there's no way for that to not make you feel old.
Yes.
30-year anniversary of anything. 30-year anniversary of your birth makes you feel old.
Yes, 30 years. Well, when I was 30, I told myself I hit the sweet spot.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
No. Still in it.
Then when I was 33, I did I'm the same age as when Jesus got his big break. Boom. Right.
Nothing.
So, what are we talking about?
The MST thing is what I was on.
Okay. So, very funny. And you got good reaction from it.
I got good reaction, and there was a lot of nice articles and things, and I didn't go looking for bad reaction.
No,
which is also very healthy, because in the past I would have gone hunting.
You've gone down.
I only if there was links to articles on Twitter, I went to them.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone did a nice one, and I wanted to read my favorite quote of the weekend from Hodgson. But like I said, I didn't go looking. I didn't go hunting the way I used to for. What did they say? I hope people liked it. Or they didn't hate it. I don't know. So
yeah, I've gone down that. I've tortured myself with that. Because there's bad, and then there's Reddit.
Right. And I know
have you ever been on Reddit?
I've been there, but I don't spend time there.
And there's no. I defy anyone to find a positive comment about me.
Reddit kind of almost caused a real rift between Hodgson and I.
Oh.
Because they compile when they were doing the Kickstarter a couple of years ago and doing the reboot thing. I was occasionally tweeting something that was snarky, but not.
Oh, about them remaking it.
Yeah, but they compiled all these things on Reddit, and because Trace Beaulieu and Frank Conniff, we were all sort of, we were supportive, but we were also
Yeah, I see. Right. Well, you're not making money on it, right?
We weren't making money, and we were, but I wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't it was little tiny shots.
Yeah.
But someone compiled a month, 3 or 4 of them from a month, and made it look like we were taking, actively taking shots, trying to be harmful in any way.
Right.
Which made Joel mad at me until he and I talked, and I was like, well, you should really, here's the context of these comments, just in case you want to know.
How did it come up?
I'm glad we talked.
Well, but is he someone who doesn't normally bring things up if he was upset, or he would?
He and I have a long history of working shit out when we have problems. A 30-year history.
Oh, wow.
30-plus year history. So
yeah.
I talked about the biggest one last week.
Which has that got lost?
No. No, I mean the last show that aired about my Mystery Science Theater experience.
Are you talking about the one with the 2 hosts? How about the one you were telling me about the things online like Mike? That I think was the
I
one
don't
that
know.
was
That
lost.
might have been.
Yeah, you were saying that there
Well,
was.
yeah, that's why I don't go looking for
Right.
shit. Just because Mystery Science Theater fans like almost created internet shit talk about things.
Yeah.
You know, they were on Usenet groups fighting with each other about who was a better host. And I remember from early AOL bill, you know, so
Right.
I mean, the first time I ever heard the word flame war was about people fighting about Joel and Mike, who was the better host, you know, so.
And Flame War came from the internet, right?
Yeah. So yeah, like, so I don't, you know, I'm sure there are people who hated me on the comeback or used it as a jumping off point
There's
to
no-
remind people how much they hated me on the original show.
I'll show you the algorithm that shows you that there will always be someone
Yeah.
who will be hating
but
you.
I'm actually proud of myself that, you know, I don't need it. I don't need to go look anymore. is I guess my thing.
And what's the quote?
Oh, so here's the quote in the New York Times, which I feel better about because they just retweeted it last night instead of me hanging on to it for 2 weeks or 10 days, whatever. They asked Joel about, they had done this Turkey Day thing where they did a marathon and they were showing some of my season 1 episodes. So they asked him what was it like to go back to that. And so he said, I've always felt like we only really got our sea legs during the show's second season. Still, I rewatched season 1 and I was knocked out by how good it was. I was especially impressed by many of the jokes written by Josh Weinstein, who changed his name to J. Elvis Weinstein, the first guy to voice Tom Servo character. He's one of the best joke writers I've ever met. I see his input all over the first season. I was always self-conscious about our first season and felt like it wasn't good, but it really is.
Now you're talking.
So that's nice to have in the paper of record.
Right.
At least, just
it used to be
because-
the paper record.
Yeah,
You mean, are you talking about the old gray lady?
The old gray lady who sees both sides a lot.
That is fantastic.
So it was nice because, you know, the history of it is that there really was 29 years almost of kind of like treating my seasons as if they were shit, you know.
By the fans too?
Yeah. I mean, both, you know, by the fans' own conclusions and by extension.
See, I'm surprised.
Fans sort of bought into that as, oh no, it's okay to hate that.
They fixed it.
Yeah. And of course the show got better.
Right.
After
But
I left.
we
you know.
can't, but the thing is, that just became a popular.
But so, you know, and there was, you know, so that's the thing is so if that became part of the sort of lore, there's just this sort of implication that it's when I left the show got better.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so for him to say that and go, no, it's part of the canon is
Yeah.
you know, it's vindicative in a small way.
I knew.
I feel small reading it now aloud.
No, you
on the
should.
thing,
No, you should. I told you to read it aloud.
But I got lots of nice love over the weekend.
And then we had a discussion about acting.
we did.
Right. So you want to give your version of it?
Well,
Because I can cop to one thing.
what's that?
Okay. When I had just watched your stuff on Mystery Science Theater, and to me, you're in the pocket, very natural, very funny.
Right.
So maybe I overstepped by saying you're a natural actor. But it came from a real point, which was like, I saw you do that amount of acting. I think you can act. But that's how I am with
Right.
acting, and because you're funny, and you're funny as a person.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And you actually called me after that text to sort of assure
Explain
me
it.
that you were being sincere.
Right.
And not
Because sometimes I don't necessarily blow smoke up people's ass.
Well, here's the context in which we were really having that
Discussion.
which is we haven't talked about the movie, The Fiddling Horse,
Right.
much. But
Which we can now.
we're going to now. In fact, I talked to CJ about us talking about it because it's now very much more prominent in my life because I've been promoted to one of the leads of the movie now.
Yes.
So, we're sort of waiting for final word.
Now, did you hear the update today?
The update today is that we're supposed to get a new thing from SAG tomorrow morning.
And I'm going next week or
And
something.
I'm going like 2 days before you.
Oh, you're going before your surgery.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay, so
Yeah. No, I'm like in most scenes in the movie now.
how okay?
And you
so
and I have lots of scenes together now, which is quite fun. Which is, I think, you know, obviously the reason CJ would do this ridiculous thing and cast me in this part. So I am like super excited about that
yeah,
because it's not something that should have happened really. I'm scared in the way I like to be scared, which
Yes.
is like, okay, if I do the acting work to get to the part, I can do this. You
Right.
know, but it's not, you know, I have no muscle memory for doing this. So I am going to have to spend all week doing acting work, internalizing the script.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But I'm super excited to do it. You know, I have a lead in a movie now, which just, like I said, shouldn't happen. Really.
Well, but yeah, and I just wanted to make sure that you knew that what I was saying was, I was more like saying like, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, no,
that's what I was thinking.
That was a lovely reaction.
Yeah, let's go for it.
It's what I needed to hear because my first thought, because I'm a director too, remember?
Yeah.
Is like, no, what the fuck are you thinking? You know?
But directors are not good at well, it depends. Like Bogdanovich, when I heard him interviewed, he seemed to have a very high opinion of his own acting.
Yes.
But most people...
No, I don't mean that. I just mean I'm objective enough.
But not about your own acting. You could never be objective enough about your own acting.
Well, we'll see.
No, but here's the thing. I'm making a statement that is obviously untrue, and you just let me... I mean, maybe it is true for some people that they can watch themselves.
No,
I know I can't watch myself.
No, I can. I mean, I...
You can evaluate your own acting.
Yes.
Wow.
I know.
No, that's true too, because I can look at things and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, no, I'm capable of being happy with it too.
But I still think
I know the difference between a shitty performance and a real one, and I know and I know it internally too. And that, you know, like I feel like I'm a good voice actor naturally, right. But you know, this is like your whole body has to do it.
Yes.
And so I really have to work to get there because my first read of something, I hear it in my head, but my body doesn't do it the first time.
Is it the same
have
script?
To work it. It's pretty much, yeah. Different last page, I think.
Well, my whole thing, and I'm not saying this has to be, you have to share this, but my whole thing was realizing, of course you wouldn't share this because you don't have this opinion, but I realized that what was stopping me from anything that stopped me creatively in my life has been from hating myself or thinking the other person hates it. So I could get by on stand up because I was fairly confident that my whole family was funny, but anything where my own opinion of myself could come through, it's like an OCD person has even more of I'm in the middle of an audition now. I see them over there. And part of you part of me wants to like, anyway, I've decided now, just forget it. Just forget it.
No, I'm
going to feel weird. Sometimes.
I'm going to feel good and enjoy. I'm sure I'll be apprehensive on set.
Yeah.
But I also I'm just sort of making it my mission to be prepared. You know, because it's my only shot at being good. You know, because I don't have natural instincts.
I thought you said you don't have projects backed up.
So if I can, I can picture myself in the role now, reading the script. So if I can match what I'm picturing myself doing, then I'll do it.
Okay, so what you were objecting to, which is true, neither. Okay, would you say neither one of us? I don't understand. I think the whole idea of someone being a natural is hard to apply to acting. To be honest with you,
I think so too. There are some, but it takes work. But the difference here is like in this case, like this part was written for you in mind.
Oh yeah. I feel I have a definite advantage with my part because. My character would forget his lines.
But it's, I don't know, it's like it's just taken a lot to adjust to the idea of it. Because it went from this thing of like, okay, I'll go knock out a scene.
Yeah.
To, like my first scene is a 2-page monologue.
Oh my God. Now, do we have a new version of the script?
No, but I can send you the current.
Oh, is it the same one?
It's the same one
from a month ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, has CJ been listening to us?
He said no, he hasn't, just because he was too afraid. He was afraid that I thought he'd be trashing him, and he just was too fragile. He said. But
I thought it was because he's
But I
busy.
talked to him. I said, look, I got to, we're doing a show. Can we talk about this? And obviously, the fear of it being postponed again is going to be part of the conversation at this
But can you talk about who you replace, or you don't even want to?
No, I don't think so.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Well, and
he talked about that.
He came at me 3 or 4 times with, this has been something I've been thinking about for 2. This is like a happy eye, which I don't believe. But
no, here's the thing about CJ is I think his enthusiasm is real.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't be into it if I didn't think so.
Right. But like. When you have enthusiasm like that, it can often be wrong. You know what I mean? I'm just saying on my own part or whatever.
No, I want to make his ridiculous bet
pay off.
That's my mission.
We're making a fiddling horse movie, really. We're making a movie that's not is really, in a way, fixed. I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't know. But so we'll see. I'm totally looking forward to it. I think it's really fucking
60-40, 70-30,
cool.
80-20. What do you think?
Whatever it takes.
No, I mean, I don't mean that. I mean, what would you say is the chances of this actually happening now? Because I don't give it. I just don't even know.
I'm gonna say I don't know. I was pinning him in a couple of times during our very long conversation or very long instant message.
Thing.
Strand. He wants it bad, man.
Well, when you get a chance,
he wants it bad, and he's waiting on the SAG, and we'll see what happens.
Well, look. When you have a Mr. Andy Kindler and Mr. Josh Elvis Weinstein, and we bring our built-in audience. Bring our built-in audience. Right. This is one of the things like those YouTubers would go nuts for. We're an influencer. Are you a disruptor or are you an influencer?
I like to disrupt influencers.
And we're like viral. What we're doing is almost viral in a way.
Well, people keep asking about Thought Spiral, the movie. Here we go. But I don't know. We'll both feel like. Well, I'll feel like a jackass if it doesn't happen. But
don't feel that way.
Well, it's just like I really have to fucking woodshed this week to do this.
Well, yeah, and think about me. What happened to me? I still have more lines, right?
Or
do we have equal lines?
No, I have way more than you.
You do?
Yes.
Oh my God. I had no idea. Do you have, but no strange accents though, right?
No, just my own, just Minnesota Jew.
Well, he put the whole production on your back. And the thing is, I'm going to turn into one of those people who, until Josh can work out the lines he can't remember, I'm going to be back in the honey wagon.
Yeah.
I like calling it the honey wagon. I don't want to be. Here's what I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to be in a very nice Four Seasons hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And then
in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
And then we go and we shoot a block and a half away from there. And I constantly go back to my room. I just love
to take dumps.
Why do you see? Here's why I'm so
gross.
I imply. This is why I'm surprised you didn't that you weren't crazy about the Sandler thing, because there was. Oh, I shouldn't tease it that way, but there was more bathroom humor in there than.
But that doesn't bother me on its face the same way it does with you.
Does it bother you that if it's gratuitous, like that woman has 6-foot ass, or that's cheap jokes? Of course it does.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I may argue with you that there may never be that your bathroom humor. I would not put up with your best.
I'm not defending any one joke. I'm just saying that I don't dismiss it out of hand.
Right, and because you
just shut down.
I shut down because it's my own. It's definitely my own problem. Not my own problem, but I have issues about. My whole family has issues about. We don't want to hear about our body functions.
Right. But for me, talking about you having to go back to the hotel to take a dump just put me right back in the head of the time you missed your introduction at Acme to do so.
That was so terrible. It was me, Erica Rhodes.
Yeah.
And you.
I was doing a guest set.
Oh my God. But it was when I came in while my name was. No. I timed it wrong, really wrong.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to go back like that, but I don't even want to get into it because there's a lawsuit involved and.
It's ugly business.
It's not good business.
Ugly business, that. So that's the big sort of drama.
But we'll see what happens, and people need to. It's a cliffhanger.
It's a cliffhanger.
It could be Cliff from Cheers.
We've had a couple of other near misses, so we haven't been talking about it that much. But now this has all happened, so now it's like.
Do you realize that I'm worried now that will I be able to squeeze this podcast in once my movie career? I mean, I'm sure yours will too, but I'm just counting on this, really bringing out the lead roles for me.
Right.
Who would you see me like? As a Matthew McConaughey, kind of a offbeat, good looks, or an old Jew 1 week away from death?
Well, if I had to choose,
that right? I could play any old Jew. I could play an agent or an old Jewish agent.
Right.
Or I could play.
Could you play a disgraced jockey?
Or as my grandfather would say, can you play solo down by the river?
Because he thought you should drown yourself.
No, it wasn't drown. When you, Grandpa, are you mean like solo down by the river? No, I mean you should kill yourself. That's not what he meant. I'm quite sure. He's not around to check it with you. So should we go into Sandler, or what should we do?
Yeah.
Or do we have any other old business?
No, we can go into the homework. I should. I feel like I went from being very offended by Yoshi and Perush to now I feel like I have to defend them because there's been a lot of backlash against Yoshi and Perush from other people saying we love the homework segment. So, even Yoshi and Perush have sort of backed off since their initial.
Well, I have to apologize because I haven't been keeping up with the mail, and I feel bad about it because I want.
That's why we have it. It's just to serve that only purpose.
For me to feel bad.
Me too.
Which it makes it worse. Everything I do is worse. Oh, you feel bad about not responding to the fans? Why don't you just take up podcast time talking about how you feel bad? Who am I helping?
Three responses you could have done right there.
What's that?
In the time you said that, you could have done 3 responses.
3 responses. So, people, but I can understand their point, though. Who was against it? Yoshi and Perush were both kind of.
Let's not go there. Let's not bring on people's.
But you're not so excited. You're not like so excited about it. You're thinking of franchising it or something.
No, I'm not. But we at least brought enough people out going. No, I really am behind this segment to make me feel good about it again.
Right, but we don't. Are they saying bring it back where you watch separate ones? No, they're not saying that.
They haven't heard this yet. They haven't heard the one version yet.
All right, now we're ready to go.
Wow, that was exciting shit. So Yoshi and Perush, they're still on. They're still in the rare air of people who fucking flew across the country to see us. So.
Yeah, they first of all, if they wanted us to not do it, they would have the right. Anybody who flew across the country.
And we have the right to, be immaturely angry at any sort of criticism.
Which is unlike me, because people see me as rolling with the punches.
Yes. So we watched Adam
Sandler's.
This is our first joint homework, which I don't know. There's a downside to it, I think.
What is the downside?
The downside is that the other way, at least one of us could endorse a movie to the other. This way, we're both going into Suckville.
Right, but then you have an in-depth discussion about.
So this is really Meryl Marco's fault.
Yes, and
we both sort of took Meryl Marco's endorsement of the Adam Sandler special as like, wow, well, if Meryl Marco loves it,
and I was yelling at her while I was watching it, Meryl, and I maintain that I don't think Meryl watched the whole special.
It could very well be.
And I think she was in one of those moods where some people, well, I've been in this mood too. You know what? I like Larry the Cable Guy. One of those things. You know what? It's not for me, but it works.
Right.
Yeah, so do you want to go first?
Yeah, I guess. So my problem with it, because it was Sandler, and, I think he's funny, but I'm not a fan of his stand-up, but it's basically a guitar act, essentially.
Right.
What really bothered me, though, was that they shot in the style where almost every bit started at a different location.
Like the Chris Rock thing, but not worked out.
It was like the Chris Rock thing, but they weren't cutting mid-sentence the same way they were with Chris Rock, but they were going every, bit to bit. So as I don't know if it's as a director or as a comic or what, but it right away is making me go, well, what are they covering up by doing this? What does this mean, that this is the best version of that bit, the best it ever went? Does this mean he can't do a whole hour set anymore? But, so initially I thought that they were, because they sort of showed him some smaller club sets towards the beginning. So I thought, okay, well, they're just showing him work his way up to the venue.
Right,
for the real special.
That's the way it seemed to start out.
That's what it kind of felt like was happening. But then they got to the big venue, and they cut back to the clubs, and they cut back.
Yeah, because some of it was the comic strip. Was some of it?
Yeah, some of it was the comic strip. Some of it was Largo, though they didn't. I noticed in the credits that they didn't actually credit Largo as the location,
they did,
but they did say thank you, Flanny.
Oh,
same thing happened when we shot there.
What?
Because there's no permit.
Well, because Flanny wouldn't.
He was just like, don't leave a
Don't make me sign
leave
something.
a paper trail.
Don't leave a paper trail.
So yeah, there was, and I think he did. I think Dynasty Typewriter was on there, and I think
Yeah.
So he did a bunch of sets, but it didn't add anything. There wasn't any storyline to why there was all these sets. There wasn't any sort of arc to it. It was just jumping around. So it feels like almost like the old Comedy Central Comedy Channel.
Yeah,
where it's like, here's an Adam Sandler funny block, but it's an hour 15 of Adam Sandler bits in a row.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a show,
felt
which
like
is kind of what, to me, what makes a special is, I get to see this person do an hour. I get to see what it's like to go see them.
And that definitely, you felt that the whole time when you're watching it, that it was just not there, which you would normally want like a through line to a show to be.
Yeah, because there's pause, there's breaths in a set. There are ebbs and flows to the way a full hour set goes. And you don't have any of this because everything is just like, here's the best version of the bit, back to back, nothing in between,
Right.
So it's hard to watch in that way.
Yeah.
There was some funny bits. There was something, most of his songs were like one verse and then out.
That's what bothered me was that it was like, I thought the whole thing was kind of a cheat because a song is not a funny song if you're just going to isolate this one line from it, which I think introduces another thing, which is very hard to write a funny song. And I loved the Hanukkah song.
Right.
But I don't think anything else he's done has, you know what I mean? It's like, it's almost like he's holding back in a way. Or he doesn't want to go show you too much, or
yeah, it's a weird. He always has had a weird level of commitment.
Yeah,
but this is a weird level of commitment. This is like you can't tell if he wants to be there entirely. You can't tell if he's worked very hard on this at all. There isn't. That he's made a good $1 jillion to do it.
Right.
So it's hard to know the motivation, so it's well,
he wanted to say 100%. I mean, the thing about it is that the people who liked it, not just Meryl, but I think people who liked it, like, are trying to, you see, it depends on the category of person I used to be a huge Adam Sandler fan. I loved him, and I was friends with Judd, and I loved him when he used to do, I didn't see him do stand-up that much, but when I did see him, I loved it, and I loved him on Saturday, the Opera Man, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So when I had a falling out was when I started to talk about him, and maybe I've talked about this before, but I talked about one of his bits on stage, and then Alan Covert looked like I thought he was going to try and beat me up. And so anyway, the thing is that he refers to himself as the Sandman early on in this thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can refer yourself as like Tom Hanks will say, like, he'll tell a story about how I had to drop the H-bomb at someone's wedding.
Right.
So, but he's making fun of himself. The Sandman, I don't think, is making fun of himself.
No, it was ironic. I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
I thought at least the first time out.
Sandman.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at one point he does a song about how much he hated, the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I just think the thing about it is like, if at some point it reaches critical mass, if you have 5 trillion comments about the juvenile nature of the movies that you're making, either you're doing something so genius that hundreds of years from now people wake up to it, or you're just kind of like, that's the thing I think.
Sleepwalking
through it. Yes. And that's kind of what I think it was like. I think I got disappointed in what he was doing, and then my own jealousy, his pettiness, and also I do think there's a weird, like the worst part of this special was the Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
Flying in.
Yes. I agree.
On a zip line or whatever the heck was.
Right.
And then they do this on Station 69.
Right.
It's like this. They're trying to say we are attracted to each other, but we're still embarrassed about it, or
whatever sort of homophobia decoder you want to apply to it is it just wasn't a good bit. But it was weird, like the songs that get committed to and the songs that get thrown away. It's like there's no consistency to that.
In other words, you would have sussed out my Uber driver smells bad. That's the worst. That's the worst collection of words I've ever heard. Because it keeps going back to, he smells like shit, then you... Blah, 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 blah.
Right. But the punchline is it was him. He shit his pants.
Adam did?
Yes.
Oh.
The punchline is that, it's actually me. I shit my
The
pants.
whole time?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you know that you... I don't even want to get into it. He did a lot of... he did jokes about... If you'd like more jokes about wiping yourself, about his piss smelling like asparagus. Oh, and the other thing that bothered me was the guy who writes the songs with... You can't have a sidekick energy to something like this.
Yeah.
Because everything keeps feeding into... He doesn't think he has some issues about. This is what I'd like to believe. He has some deep issues about himself.
Yeah.
But that would be me trapped in his body.
Right.
He maybe doesn't have any of those issues.
He might not.
But you could tell he has a lot of anger and rage.
Sure.
And
But he might not have any self-doubt. In fact, there's some evidence. But I don't know, I mean, I found it way too long. I mean, it's like,
right.
Based on my normal curiosity, I probably would have watched 15 minutes, I would say.
I would say that I can't even think about his specials though. I can't think about anything once he started to make the movies, because then that just got taken over by the movies.
Right.
I think he was in a Young Comedian special, maybe, and
Probably.
one of those.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing him at the Santa Monica Improv, and just had a shyness about him.
Right.
And so that hesitancy could be funny. Now that hesitancy is just like, I don't give a fuck about this joke.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like he's like half-heartedly putting on his old character, but it just doesn't fit on his body anymore.
And it contained the world's worst audience reaction shots I've ever seen in my life.
There was a lot of them. Yeah. I mean, which is weird if you're going to be doing that much editing between shows. Like, why would you have to use an audience cutaway at any point?
And it seemed like the thing about his grandma.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was like...
Do you have a headache?
Maybe.
It's possible you do. I'm trying to read...
My facial expression?
Well, because if we ever play bridge together, the only message I'd be getting from you is, you're a fucking idiot and you're ruining the bridge game.
No, not with bridge.
You can play?
I can't play.
Neither can I. Oh, what kind of bridge? No, I can't play that either.
I have a cousin who I've talked about who is one of the great players of the world.
What is his name?
Howard Weinstein.
Wow. Wait, how's he related?
My father's first cousin.
And did you enjoy spending time with him, or is it...
I did. Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Can he... Because I was like, I would like to know why... I don't know. I'm fascinated with chess. You can say chess? No, it's bridge.
I said bridge.
But bridge is about at the same level almost, isn't it?
Same dudes, kind of. Yeah.
It's a...
Strategy nerds, kind of.
Right. I was a backgammon.
Well, that's also my cousin in that part of the family. They were into backgammon and pinochle and just cards of all kinds.
And the backgammon people sometimes do very well at poker. Like because I follow the poker sometimes. I do that. I think that I should...
Backgammon is just because you can bet a lot.
Yeah, but I think backgammon has a strategy that I don't understand.
Yeah, well, you'd have to play it more.
I'd like to play more Scrabble. I'd like to like it more. I also fooled myself. I look at the Monday New York Times crossword puzzle, and I got like a few of them in a row. I was like, what the fuck? It's easy. I'm a genius.
Right.
How did I not know I'm a genius? The Monday.
Ah, okay.
That's how they get you.
That's right. I'm going to subscribe. I can feel like a genius every day.
3 letters, and you have 5 of them on your feet. Toe? Yeah. I'm back. I mean,
Monday.
Current way to tell that someone's awake.
Monday is my smartest day.
So now, how about the next week we're going to be doing...
I think I want to...
You want to change it?
I kind of do, yeah.
So you want to have us each watch something?
We don't need to do that, but I think we need to do something that's at least more surefirely, something that is well regarded.
Oh, okay. So what was the movie you had?
We were going to do The Third Man.
Right, but no one knows that.
Right, exactly. So I'm thinking we should do Nutty Professor.
Okay, let's watch the Nutty Professor. There's only one Nutty Professor, right? We're not talking about the other one.
No, I'm not. I'm only talking about Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually more familiar with the Eddie Murphy one at this point, which I've seen.
Which I didn't think was
And I saw the Nutty Professor years ago, but it was before my opinion of Jerry Lewis was fully formed.
Right.
So I'd like to see it with more current eyes, because I can't remember much other than the biggest strokes of the.
And I know I haven't seen anything from. But now we know that this, and they talk about
it's available on iTunes for rental.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
A natural actor. He's a great natural actor in King of Comedy, for example.
Yeah.
So, but
we don't know how natural that is.
That's the thing. I was just going to say that.
I'm trying to come off like a natural actor too, but it's going to take me a lot of fucking work to get to that.
I can just speak for myself, but it's such a weird world of, and I was also taught as an actor in college by a guy who wanted it to be like more method, like you believed it.
Yeah.
And then when you didn't believe it, you felt like you were failing. So it's the weirdest, thing. It's a lot similar to stand up in some ways, but you definitely are more judgmental. I'm more judgmental of what I'm trying to lose that though. Just don't think about anything.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like I gotta get the words loaded in so that I'm not spending time on memory while I'm performing.
Oh no, that you have to do, and also you need to focus, add business to everything. Figure out.
Can I have a can of soup here?
You're a guy who could be an origami wizard.
Yes.
Can I have a can? Campbell's Soup is not. I don't know if you know of this, but Campbell's Soup is not doing very well.
Really?
And they have there's like the hostile takeover almost. And because some of the people don't want to. How can you? It's either going to sell or it's not going to sell. It's a horrible product. No one likes it.
Yeah. There's been a lot of soup advances since the golden days.
Since
of Campbell.
condensed soup, you betcha. Now, did it make you sick as a kid, or you didn't have to eat as much? For some reason, it was always the choice I had to go to in the cupboard.
We ate Campbell's soup. Like chicken noodle and stuff like that.
Chicken noodle is the only one you could eat.
Yeah, that was maybe split pea. I don't know. But I think we did other split pea.
But it was never something to look forward to.
There was also cup of soup in our house.
That was more for me. When cup of soup happened, I got into the Lipton's noodles.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I could imagine that would be like home cooked chicken noodle soup.
Really?
And it would have dried white meat chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just fascinated with it.
This must be how an astronaut eats soup.
Has a certain tang.
So yeah, let's do Nutty Professor.
Nutty Professor, and I'm looking forward to it.
Hopefully, we can watch it on our plane ride.
Hopefully I'll watch it. Oh, I may have to. Are we going to be able to do the podcast?
Hey, here's the thing.
What's the plan?
Well, I mean, we'll try to do a podcast because we'll be working together for 2 days in a row. So,
and you heard about the hotel room, right?
What, that we're sharing
Well,
bunk bed?
and Susan too.
Okay, good. So, but I'm just saying, if we need to have an out if it actually happens, the movie.
Like, what do you mean?
I mean, I might not be able to watch The Nutty Professor by the time we podcast. If I find out tomorrow.
Oh, I see.
If I find out tomorrow it's a go.
Yeah.
I'm not watching The Nutty Professor.
Well, don't watch it yet. Now, here's the thing. The other movies that we were going to do The Third Man, or what was the other one? A Strange.
Was it the other Orson Welles one?
Yeah.
That has a Kindler in it?
Yes, and that The Third Man doesn't, but Franz Kindler is in the other one, which is the
And you said that was going to bother you the whole movie.
No, I thought that it would be like like he would come in and go, "You're a ringer. You're already in this movie."
Why would you think that of me?
I don't know.
You like?
But I do want to see The Third Man at one point.
You can. It's on Netflix.
No.
That's why we
I'm
chose
not watching any movies that aren't related to the show.
Okay. Well, I think we should do something funny. Or something,
Oh, I'm not trying to
not
change
dark
it now.
and thrillery. Like
No, there's no reason. Because you know why? I don't think people see us as there's another Mankiewicz. It's Ben Mankiewicz. Oh, those guys are on the TCM.
Yeah, they're brothers. Josh and Ben.
The one who hosts the Dateline.
Dateline and TCM are
How
brothers.
could I not know this?
I don't know.
What's the matter with me? What's the matter with me? Oh, God. Okay, I'm back.
All right, welcome.
How are we doing? How I don't like to look at the clock, but how are we doing?
I think we're ready for a break.
Time for a break. And now this song, I'm very much looking. Don't do this thing where you go, look, Andy, we lost the song. I'm not going to let you hear it again. I have to hear it again.
You can hear it again.
Okay.
And we'll get your reaction.
And we'll be right. And after these words, and
well, let me introduce the song.
oh,
Then you can do your outro. The song is by Allison MacLeod, my wife. Clap, clap, clap. And it's a song she wrote many years ago, but it actually is, I think, quite relevant today. It's very much about media culture and attention, and it can now be about social media culture and attention. So it's called How Do You See Me?
I like it. I can't host a show. I can't do an outro. Well, that's my outro?
I guess.
I like it. You know what? Looking forward. Long time, first time. That's 65 Degrees on the Quiet Storm. That was Not If You See Me by Ian McGrath and the Two Tones. And if you've noticed there, that was a Allison MacLeod and don't forget now, this Friday I'll be down at the ball.
You're right. I will regret that joint.
Now, wait a second. That is the song with the producer from X, maybe, or?
No. I think I read you a quote from Ray Manzarek.
Yes, about this song.
No, about the album.
God damn it. I'm just sick and tired of me misremembering things and then you correcting me. I love that song. That song is an anthem. I love the, I don't know why I say words and I think I made them up. It's an anthem.
Sure.
It's not the national anthem. You know what I like?
It's an anthem of self-absorption.
Right. Have you heard the white nationalist anthem? It's very good. It's very good.
Oh, say can Nazi?
And we'll be back right after these messages. We're mice. That was one of my favorite.
We're mice?
No, mice was the name of one of my favorites. I know, I just thought it was a funny name for it. And I just thought, not a great name for an improv group, but I can't get it out of my head.
We're mice? Or just
No,
mice?
not the Weir. I put the
Just
Weir.
mice?
No, Weir Mice. Weir was Bob Weir's.
Oh.
No.
What?
Mice. Just mice.
Okay. This isn't that fun.
This is like Fireside Theater, right? With the constant.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, you know, I heard when you said that this was not fun. I don't know if you thought that was an internal thought.
I thought
no, it came out.
Damn
This isn't fun.
All right,
the whole point of doing
It's this acting thing, man. It's getting my whole internal, external dialogue thing all
Now, you're not
mixed
going to
up.
make any of these faces when we're on set, right?
Which faces?
Oh, no, don't worry about it. Were you playing along then?
Oh, yeah, always. Oh, piece of shit.
What?
I don't want to work with you at all. What?
Huh? Have you seen The Last Mission Impossible? I can't get enough of Tom Cruise as the I mean, that's the greatest franchise since Carl's Jr. Come on, that's a funny joke, right? It's a great franchise. Look, make that.
I suppose in Kindler
show
world.
the people
in
at
Kindler
home.
World, yeah, I made the Twitter. What is this? The
Twitter so-so.
The teetering hand.
Come see, come solve.
Yes.
Twitter. I forgot what the joke was now. What was it?
It wasn't a joke.
Oh, God damn you.
It was a franchise. Carl's
Franchise.
Jr.
Hey, Chi-Chi.
I'm Andy Kindler. I don't understand words. Back!
I'm Andy Kindler. Hi, I'm Andy Kindler.
I don't understand words.
Hi, I'm Andy Kindler. I don't usually do commercials. But hi, I'm Alex Trebek. Do you want to pay for your own funeral starting now?
Go. All right, so we're gonna take some of last week's questions because I know you don't remember
exciting.
them.
It's exciting.
And we'll even throw in some of the people who were intrepid enough to do Test Show 84s without a request.
Oh, wow.
I'll try to do them too. So this is going to be good. I'm even going to throw in some email questions this week.
I feel like
We're going to be here for 6 hours.
I feel like if anything ever happened to either one of us, and I hope it's you, that I don't know, but for years they'll be saying 89 or like Perush will be 80 years old, would have been Test Show 10,000. I mean, just a very sad very sad listeners to the show.
Should we do a tontine?
What's that?
It's an agreement that the survivor of the agreement has to carry out, or
Oh, wow. What's it called?
a tontine.
Ooh, I don't like that word. Is that like a joke? Is that like a video game thing or a real thing? If I die first, you got to do something?
That's a real thing. It's at least according to that MASH episode I learned it from when I was 8. Colonel Potter made a tontine with his World War I buddies that whoever was the last to die would drink a toast of this whiskey that they drank in a foxhole.
Oh, and he finally drank it. Is this the Henry Morgan days or the
Harry Morgan, please?
Harry Morgan days?
Yes.
When you think about who your favorite?
You think McLean Stevenson could pull off a tontine?
No, absolutely not. I love McLean Stevenson. I love that McLean Stevenson was great in that show. I love that he left that show to do a horrible show.
Yeah.
But I don't love that he died young. That's the only thing that's not good.
That was sad.
Is there a show I could do where I can make people even further depressed about people who've died?
I like that he left that show to do a show that we don't even like. He did Hello Larry eventually, but he had like 2 more failed ones between.
Oh, I didn't know that. You mean after it or before that?
No, but there was like 6 years between when he left MASH and Hello Larry. because he did a couple other failed ones.
I don't know about
That's
that.
my point.
I'm going to actually.
Then-
I'm actually going to bet against what you just said.
Then he spun into the Sea of Japan.
There were no survivors.
survivors.
It spun out. I can still make myself cry when I think about that last scene. Not really. But I did cry when no.
You bring 10% of what Berghoff brings to a scene, and we're going to be fine next week.
If I could bring it to this podcast, you mean, right?
Sweet Pahara.
Tweets from Van Nuys.
I'd like to open an online store that sells only things for anal issues. Butt plugs, hemorrhoid cream, thongs, suppositories, etc. My store will be called Anything But.
Okay, he saved it with the name. He said, "Who is this? Is this actually Tweet Bahara?" I would not have. I would not have gone for that, but he closed well with it.
All right.
What do you think?
I think he could have done a couple of fewer beats along the way. Michelle Wisecrover says Allison's song from Test Show 81, the Disney Princess theme, which was that...
the one that I thought was the thing.
Hidden by Years is the name of that.
Okay.
Was glorious. I agree with Andy. I think that's my favorite song so far, and I think she should make it available for purchase. Well, she's opening up a Bandcamp site.
Oh, cool.
And you will be able to download and for purchase Allison's songs a la carte.
She has a song called A La Carte?
Yes, she does, Andy.
Have you ever heard my song Prefix? How do you say it?
Prefix.
Prefix. For $19.95, you can have Cornish game hen. That's it. This is exactly what the Adam Sandler special was like. If you want a Cornish game hen,
then he'd finish with a Cornish game hen unless you have anal warts. Ah.
I just realized something that he is doing that is a disease that comedians have. They want to be rock stars.
Yeah.
And that's like when Sam Kinison, I didn't enjoy any of the Sam Kinison videos.
Right. It's a weird posture he has with it's a weird,
Yeah, he has a weird relationship to it. And
as I was saying, you can't be Fonzie and Squiggy at the same time, and he kind of tries to ride that.
And that often ends in death.
It's true.
I had a lot of friends.
The leader of the pack. It was Fonzie ending in death, is what I was saying.
I just got generally.
Yeah, I understand.
If I was in the Army, could I be general confused?
You could only be.
General short-term memory. Oh, by the way, have I told you about Prevagen? I have, right? You've heard me talk about it, right?
I have, yes.
Yes. And now I just realized another joke about it.
Oh, good.
It says it improves your short-term memory. Based on, is that good for a jellyfish to have more memory of a life that, some kind of joke like that.
Right.
Like that.
Oh, you remember bobbing.
Oh, yeah. Why
I I took it. You know what I remember? I remember bobbing.
I remember bobbing.
I
love when this it turns into a work on my bit, on my act. I remember bobbing. I have a clear memory.
I took some Prevagen because they say jellyfish it helps with their memory or something. I took it. I remember bobbing.
That's it. That joke never works at all. Now we're gonna.
I think it's gonna work now. Oh,
jellyfish.
God. Here's the tag that Andy will put on that now. Elvis Weinstein wrote that.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
I would like to thank. I'm known in the business for doing the most inappropriate either thank yous or non-thank yous.
Right, bus tosses.
Yeah.
And to finish up Michelle Wisecrover's tweet, just because it's about me, also was fantastic seeing you in the new season of MST3K, Josh.
Yeah. Michelle Wisecrover, let me tell you something. She always lifts up my spirits. I'm not saying this is a joke, hence there's no humor. But, and I don't sound sincere. I'm not good with sincerity.
No, she does. She brings this very earnest support to the table.
Yes, for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't mean like for reals, like that station that you love, REELZ. Have you ever watched a Reels?
I've gotten fooled into DVRing things on Reels because it's like, oh, that's a topic. That's a documentary topic
Yeah.
I'd like. but it's horribly executed in the shittiest possible TV factory bullshit way.
My favorite one is they do like some kind of some kind of a mafia guy, and they keep cutting back to footage of the guy who's playing the mafia guy,
right.
but he's just looking crazy. He's like, like laughing maniacally into a mirror. That does not bring me any further knowledge.
It makes True Hollywood Stories look positively Orson Wellesian.
Now,
Positively Orson Wellesian.
is it wrong?
I'm not talking Ambersons here.
Did those? I used to love those when they first started, but they were not very good, probably, right?
They were just shittily made. But.
Yeah, True Hollywood Story.
Yeah.
Anything, first of all, anything that's branded E, there's been a lot of love,
right.
attention, and there's nobody's been screwed, and it's respectful.
It's just one above F.
That would be the. Remember, I wrote slogans for the WB.
That'd be the kind.
That'd be the kind of slogan I write for the WB. We're the E Network. We're one above F.
Mark Thompson wants to know, I wonder if the two of you realize what a landmark Test Show 81 was, not to horn in on Perush, but at approximately 14 minutes and 15 seconds, Andy reminded Josh of what he was just talking about. I mean, wow.
I do remember the moment. Now, I don't remember what it was I reminded you about what you were talking about, but I clearly remember the moment where all of a sudden I was the guy in charge. You were the person who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. I'm cursing.
And how did it feel? It kind of felt like a burden, I bet, didn't it?
Like the cursing?
No, the feeling in charge thing.
Oh, no.
With the hapless partner.
It felt good right into the moment when you asked me about it, and I completely forgot what we were talking about.
That was good, yeah.
And then it made me realize, what if I really do have, what if I've had dementia what if I've had dementia since the show started? How would you know?
Do you remember bobbing?
Prevagen helps, because Prevagen's short-term, they have such great short-term memory, Prevagen.
Have you ever seen a jellyfish who's lost?
No.
Exactly.
Or doesn't remember what they were doing.
No, you haven't seen it.
Where? What were you doing 20 minutes ago? Same thing I've been doing for the last 50 years, Choo-Choo. Hanging out on a piece of algae.
I believe in complete transparency.
I love that. You're adding on. I'm taking every one of these. I am taking every one of these. No, I should, but you don't care because I love how I take.
Take it. Go ahead. There's you're leaving an audio paper trail of you. Of me writing it.
No, there's no way because as you know,
I don't edit this out.
Well, what are the odds of this file surviving?
Right. Oh, why?
Zoom, bang, boom.
No,
boom.
paranoid.
You just wait. All you do is I just wait till the time where I go, oh, you did, didn't you? You did, didn't
there's still one knife left to twist in my quiver.
It's the Sunshine Boys.
M. Ledsome says, I'm headed to Minneapolis on Christmas until after New Year's. Any advice on places to visit, eat, see comedy? Love the show, guys. P.S. When you coming to England, J. Elvis?
They want you over there.
I want to be there.
I know. I'm like the world.
Well, M. Ledsome helped bring Trace and Frank over there.
Yes.
To bring the Mads over. I haven't seen the big kickstart Josh's
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she's going. She's not going the extra mile.
So yeah. So So when am I coming? I don't know. You could be part of that answer.
Why are we making her feel guilty?
I don't want to make her feel guilty.
She should be able to go. She should be able to go to Minneapolis, and without worrying about what she's going to do for us.
She should, but then she asked when you coming to England.
And that's all on her.
Despite the fact that two of my best friends were flown there by her and her friends.
Yeah, why? All of a sudden,
I'm coming to England anyway.
Go to Acme Comedy Club, obviously.
Go to Acme for sure.
I'm a Black Sheep pizza fan.
Andy loves Black Sheep. I
prefer
Bar La Grassa is a great restaurant. It's hard to get into, but if you want to eat early, make a reservation there.
Yeah,
you'll be your time schedule will be all fucked up. It's so you can.
How about the places like that you took me that I've gone out of my memory, but you loved them when you were a kid. There was one place like that,
like Market Barbecue, which is shut and is now reopening elsewhere.
You know what people say is great is the Prince thing. I've heard them say it's great. I'm saying
Paisley Park.
Yeah, it's supposed to be great. It's expensive.
Is it? And it's a good ways outside the city.
And would you go? I kind of want to go.
I've been there.
Oh.
I actually worked there once. Recording a thing.
When Prince was alive.
Prince was alive. He wasn't.
He wasn't there.
He wasn't at our thing. No, I think.
Have
he was
you
in
been?
the building.
Did you meet Prince?
I've walked by Prince a few times at Rudolph's Barbecue.
Where's that?
It's in Minneapolis. It just closed this year, but it was there for 40 years.
Is that where you took me?
No, I took you to the market.
Oh, and is Rudolph's good?
It was.
I'm going to sneeze.
Okay.
It passed.
So yeah, I used to see Prince on, we'd see him on weekend nights. He'd have a special room in Rudolph's and all the comics would meet there and he'd be leaving and we'd be showing up and we'd take his room after him.
Oh my God. And did he ever say to you, I like your stuff, Josh, J. Elvis. Hey, do you guys know Louis Anderson? I really like it. Why is he Marlon Brando? Oh, I can't did he sound like Marlon Brando?
No, he didn't.
No. And that didn't either.
He had a deep voice.
I heard he was, and I'm not saying this to be funny, as people know in general, he was a good basketball player. I know he was short, but he was supposed to be an excellent basketball player.
And he did it in heels.
What's that?
And he played in heels.
That was the thing that was amazing about him.
He did everything in those fucking heels.
Ginger Rogers did.
Which is probably why he had massive hip pain that caused his pain addiction and blah, blah, blah.
I just hope that I don't ever get access to those fentanyls.
I think that's a good plan.
It's a good plan.
Yes. Maybe you get a bracelet even.
I think it's sad that I have to actually verbalize. I think it would be good for me to stay away from the fentanyl.
Well, we'll see what I have left over after surgery.
Oh, God damn it. What are you asking for?
Shoot the moon.
Can I send you thoughts and prayers now? Because I'm going to be very busy on the actual day of the operation.
Perush says, if you're planning on another clip show for the holidays, hit me up for the notes. It's a lot of Miller on the Sixes and dress pants timestamps.
Well, wait a second. I love the idea that Perush has stuff like is it just because he's a tech guy that he has it stored, or is he joking about it?
No, I think I know from last year that he does in fact have lots of things logged. Perush has listened to the show a lot.
Does this, if we take off, will this help us if we take off really big and people?
It'll help him. He can start a website or something.
Yes, he could. And I would suggest if there's any way to make money off of us, I'll split it with you.
Meanwhile, we have Lynn is actually transcribing shows for hearing impaired friends of hers.
Oh my God!
And she's like up to show 5 now.
Oh my! I can't even.
And she does a great job. She sends me the transcripts when she's done.
Well, that is a cool thing. I could not do that because I can't even.
No,
back.
I have to fucking sit through them without transcribing them, and it's excruciating.
It must be hard to work on the show.
It must be. Our staff must hate it.
Because I'll tell you something. I find it hard just to come over here and not do well. That's okay that I laughed at my own thing. That wasn't like a sand.
Yeah, it wasn't a first time. Tommy Barcanero says, have you guys ever felt uncomfortable watching a sexually explicit movie or TV show on an airplane? I always wonder what other passengers might think as they see me watching an episode of Girls.
I would feel that if I see sex anywhere, and let's say I'm flying with my mother or something.
I have no problem with it if it's on their system.
Right.
Like I'd be more, if it was on my laptop, I would feel more wary.
Yeah, why would it be on your laptop?
Because it's packed with porn. Packed with porn. My laptop really satisfies.
Anything but.
You'd say apparently he thought his laptop was a hard drive full of wholesome goodness. Anything but. But yeah, that's my rule, I guess.
Yeah.
I try not to feel it. If the airline put it there, that's on them.
I know, but still.
It's not like I had the tits mapped out in my...
Right, so you just look, you glare at people.
I didn't put them there. I pressed play.
I tell you, you're not exactly a good Samaritan.
No, I'm not.
And
if there was a child sitting next to me, I would not do it.
Well, let's just know that if anything if there was any situation where we had to be an excellent person, there's a chance that one of us would be. Like save a life. Yeah. I decided that I have to take one of these CPR. Have you? You probably taken one.
CPR class? I did in high school. I got certified, but it's expired.
Because you know what's going to happen if something happens to Susan and she needs CPR? She's not going to survive. Because I'll panic. Panic! I need a class so that if anything happens to anybody, is it hard? It looks like it's easy. That's why I don't want to take the class. You press 3 times, you clear out the throat.
Yeah. No, I think you got it. You don't need the class.
And can't you buy one of those machines?
A CPR machine?
Like a paddle thing.
Yeah, a defibrillator?
Yeah, like a portable.
Sure, you can. I mean, not like to carry around, but to keep in your restaurant.
Yeah. We're opening a restaurant?
Yes.
Hey, have you tried the Thought Spiral special? It's fusilli.
Come on, fusilli is shaped like a spiral.
It was, yeah. I was trying to think. I was going for like gyros or something, like a spiraled meat.
You know, DNA has like a spiral. Can we think? Could our podcast be the DNA that you're missing in your life?
We're double helix and Oscar.
You can get a laugh just on your delivery because you did a little bob and weave.
That's good.
That was your favorite group after Bob and Ray, right? Right, Bob and Weave.
It was a sad knockoff, but still entertaining.
I like to write puns and make them into jokes. Oh.
2 people this week asked us if there's a chance of seeing Josh and Andy guest on Getting Dug with High. This is David Schnatz.
All right, now here's the thing.
And then he followed up with Josh, have you ever been stoned on stage? I'm usually high when I listen to Thought Spiral. Unless I'm at work, then I'm definitely high.
That would be cool to be able to be. I would like to listen to us high. Well, I am high most of the time.
Sure.
I should be. I've been on that show.
Yeah.
And I want us to be in that show. And in fact, this I'm going to be honest about. This was one of the things that was one of my assignments.
Yeah.
That I dropped the ball on. So I have to get us, because that's the angle I'm going for.
Yeah.
Because you haven't been high on that show, and you also get high differently than me.
Right.
And you could actually talk while it's happening.
I'd say make it happen.
Yeah. Week 2, I'm going to do it. I'm getting better.
Doug has threatened to have me on his shows before, but he's never actually legit asked me.
It's going to happen. You know what? Leave everything to me.
He wanted to do one. There was a week I was headlining at Acme, and he was thinking of coming in and doing one that day.
Oh.
But didn't happen. Let's see.
Oh.
Larry says, Andy, could you talk about your love of great coffee until just before Elvis Weinstein gets annoyed, or has that already occurred?
Well, the main thing is that you want to get beans that are actually, in a way, highly acidic. That could be acidic, so that you want to get them balanced. And the main thing is the roast date. You have to consume coffee. Josh?
Oh God, I swallowed my tongue. I just got a conical burr grinder, and I have to say, it makes better coffee.
That's cool. You can tell the difference?
Yes.
Were you grinding it before?
I was.
Oh.
But with a blade.
Yeah. A blade? Yeah. I get sick that you even said it. Why don't you just use scissors at that point, or a hammer?
It's good. I like it.
But you're still drinking the same old swill? I don't know who I'm doing.
I'm drinking Intelligentsia beans.
Ooh. How come I didn't know that about you?
I don't know, because you're a dick.
But you drink dark roast, but it's not dark roast.
Well, it's Intelligentsia dark roast.
Which is a light roast. No, it's medium.
It's their version of a dark roast. It's El Diablo.
I just wanted to check one thing with you.
That was your character on the Naked Trucker cartoon, by the way, was El Diablo. I'm El Diablo. You're the devil? No, I'm El Diablo.
Wait, did we do a cartoon?
We did the voice track for it, and then I never finished it because it was going to be prohibitively frustrating.
So you, in many ways, you've prevented me from...
I paid you. Fuck off.
Ooh. He just read me I've been read the riot act.
Michael Storenka says, saw Andy in Cleveland. Club did sort of a receiving line in the lobby. Big fan and really enjoyed the show, but didn't line up. Didn't have more to say than big fan, enjoyed the show. What, if anything, do you two get out of those after-show interactions?
Now that he brings it up, I remember I didn't do well with that club. That's hilarities. I didn't do well there.
Yeah.
And I liked seeing people at the show, but I think if they make it that
I liked you.
I liked you. I think if it's any kind of forced thing, I think no one likes that. Not a forced, but directed.
Yeah, I don't like the receipt. I mean, what do I get out of it? It depends if I'm selling merch or not, I guess is really the answer, but...
Well, that's a very going to add to the Jewish stereotypes.
Well,
is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, sort of.
Here's basically what you're telling America. I enjoy them if I can make money.
I hate the feeling of standing out in a receiving line after a show.
It shouldn't be that way.
I don't think everyone should have to file past you. If people like seek you out after, like I make myself available after a show usually.
Yeah.
But I don't put myself in positions where people are forced to go, oh, good job. Really enjoyed it.
It ups the awkward factor.
Yeah, and it's needy, and it's needy for something I don't need.
Now, what I do,
but sometimes it's part of the gig. Sometimes, which I assume was what happened in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Hilarities does that, therefore you do that.
I don't remember doing that, but I blocked out a lot of the experience because I bombed.
Right.
When you bomb, you don't particularly remember a lot of the details.
Right. Just the fiery sensation.
I just remember it was a nice room. Everyone seemed. I couldn't make a Dennis Kucinich joke work there. And that's where he was the mayor of that town. Dennis Kucinich. I said I had progressive lenses. My glasses once voted for Dennis Kucinich.
And you didn't...
Nothing.
They didn't give you the key to the city for that?
No. This was before LeBron came back.
Dark times in Cleveland.
It was. These people were not... Well, if by dark times you mean they didn't enjoy my comedy...
That's the darkest.
That's a lot of times.
That's the darkest, yeah.
If you had told me before I started whatever it is I'm doing that many, many nights people would hate your guys. Do you know what I'm talking about? That whole idea that could be the idea that people, that you...
There are people who go their entire careers without having a room full of people hate them.
That's true. No, but
I'm just saying that. That's what makes it such an odd thing.
That people hate me.
What you're saying is that
right, but I mean just the fear like, oh, they're paying good money. I hate if I ever get into that mode, like when a crowd's all pumped up for Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't ever.
Yeah.
I don't
worry.
I don't ever feel bad for them. Once in a while, actually, that's not true. There's times like when I'll play like a super young crowd. Where I just go, I know you'd so much be rather seeing someone who you'd follow on Instagram.
Then you feel...
Where you just feel like... I did a set at the Improv the other night, and you look at a crowd and you go, all right, I'm going to talk about being married, or I'm going to talk about being middle-aged, but they're not going to relate to any of this shit, so...
was that the Lab, or was it...
the Lab, yeah.
I have to...
For Laura House's How to Hate Yourself show.
I don't know I made that sound.
No, it was good. It's almost appropriate. It was like, I don't know what we're talking about. I'm stoned.
Sometimes I think, I'm not good with crowds who have no frivolous knowledge of names and things.
Right. Your massive amount of references that you throw into your thing.
People... And, I fancy myself as a reference maven.
Sure.
But I'm not really. I just know a certain subset from when I grew up. So that's not impressive.
These kids, they don't get my Sky King jokes. I love
Sky King as a reference.
Yeah, try using it.
And Eddie, James Matthews. Have I talked about James Matthews?
I don't know.
Yet? From England?
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk about him more. Shout out to him because he's a cool. I can't even tell you about it. But he showed me that I look like Eddie Deason, and then you look at Eddie Deason and you go, I do look like him. And now, do you know who Eddie Deason is?
Not really. No.
Revenge of the Nerds or something.
Okay.
And when you look on the line, you go, it's not a doppelganger exactly.
Yeah, it's a guy that you kind of look like. There's got to be a word for that.
Well, it's German doppelganger, isn't it? Or is that Doppler effect?
Both, I think.
So what's is there a theory that there's one exact Andy. Is there one person who looks like you in the universe, or no? It's a game. It's a game.
I know that there's there's someone in the universe who feels joy in your misery. So it's Doppelfreude is what you're thinking of.
I love Schadenfreude.
I do too.
I really do. I heard that you got.
Terry Caulfield says, "Can either of you drive stick?" Yes, I can.
Me too.
Beautiful. Moving
but
on.
I don't care about it anymore.
Jim Ian wants to know, Josh, are you a T-Wolves fan or have you gone Hollywood by cheering for the Lakers? How do you think the Lakers will do this year? I have gone Hollywood by cheering for the Lakers, but I felt fine about it just because they were a team that moved from Minneapolis to L.A. like me.
And you live in L.A.
And the Timberwolves were only in Minneapolis for like 2 years before I left.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to get attached to the team.
To a new team, an expansion team. Yeah. So
they had they had a big guy on their team, didn't they? A big star.
They had Kevin Garnett for years.
That's what I'm thinking of. I believe. And they got close a couple of times.
They got close once. Yeah, just once.
But the Twins, you get excited about.
Still like the Twins. Still like the Vikings. I watched a Vikings game yesterday. Sadly.
Are they in contention?
They're slipping out of contention.
When you root for the Jets, it's a relief because so early on you're mathematically eliminated. The pressure's off.
There you go. When you're a Jet, none of the way.
I'm going to overlook you doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, can you tell I've developed a new personality in the last 15 minutes? It's kind of like
the joint.
No, it's like maybe the joint, but you can't blame everything on the joint. I also have deep-seated issues.
I was excusing you because of the joint, not blaming.
I'm doing the podcast version of the Groucho Marx self-interview that I do it myself.
Chaotic Neutral says, Josh, do you think you would enjoy being on Fallback Friday panel? I just saw your clip on Oberman's old show. Thought you did great.
Cool.
I did have fun on Oberman's show years ago.
And I saw recently...
It was Countdown we were on.
And recently he referenced it. You guys were talking about something recently.
Oh, he was like one of the earliest big newspaper reviewers to be a big Mystery Science Theater fan.
And I grew up...
He actually started using Mystery Science Theater references on Sports Center back then.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
He would do like commercial sign and things that we'd do.
That's cool.
It was cool.
Yeah. Because they were kind of, back then ESPN was more of a...
reference factory.
Yeah,
but partially because of him.
Yeah.
And he was partially because of Mystery Science Theater, so...
Wow. See how it all comes around?
Yes.
Do you ever think your voice, like my voice right now, sounds like it's unremittingly horrible? Try
having earphones on.
Is that a directive or just a suggestion?
Maybe try having earphones on, but... Chaotic Neutral also says, Mr. Kindler, it's come to my attention that Mr. Weinstein has been slipping into his Dennis Miller impressions during office hours.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes, Mr. Kindler, cha-cha.
Mr. Weinstein, when you first started working for this fictional firm, nigh 35 years ago, I only had one rule. And that rule was no Dennis Miller impressions. It has come to my attention, Mr. Weinstein, that you are doing Dennis Miller impressions on my dime.
Well, Mr. Kindler, who am I? Pip from Great Expectations? Cha-cha? I don't have it down yet, I have to say.
Yeah, but you have you saw it, that other guy. Who does the Family Guy do when he's a Peter Lorre? When he has Peter Lorre, right?
Peter Lorre? No, that's James Mason. I can't do.
Oh, James Mason.
Lolita.
Nobody goes,
like a bubble of poison in my loins.
Merry Christmas, old Savage alone.
Merry Christmas, you old building alone.
Oh, I like that. Not really.
No? Okay. Then we'll move on. Heather M. says, thoughts on soup for breakfast?
I'm a big soup guy.
My kid ate soup for breakfast when he was in high school.
Your kid?
Yes. I have a stepson.
Oh, I don't think of it that way. The way you said it right there.
Yeah.
You said it, and so like every morning or just rarely?
No, like every morning.
That's really weird. But you know what? Who's to say? One man's weird is another man's cereal.
It was actually it wasn't bad because we had to go early because he had school downtown. He was at the arts high school, so he would take the subway a lot of mornings, or if I drove, we had to leave.
Was it homemade soup?
No, canned soup, but it's a pretty easy breakfast.
I know, but I don't know. I think I took. Well, I'm saying that we should go back in time and should take the choice away.
I'm just saying, when someone likes something easy and it's not unhealthy, why the fuck would you mess with it?
That's true. It's a good point. I feel bad thinking negatively about it.
Good. Let's do a couple of questions from the mailbag, the email bag.
Wow, this is a big breakthrough for us.
Yes, a lot of people have been sending me questions, and some people are going, "Hey, I'm not joining Twitter to ask you fucking questions, but I want to ask you questions."
Oh, I see. So they want the questions to be answered.
Right.
Okay.
Sarah in Washington said, I'll read her comment and her question. Right. I wanted to write in after Andy said he thought listeners would miss hearing about his thought spirals. I am really enjoying hearing about Andy's progress in therapy and his insights into his OCD, as well as Josh's comments about anxiety. I'm doing a lot of hard work on my own therapy, and my boyfriend has OCD. It's nice to hear about other people going through the same things and thriving. So I guess my question for the question segment would be to both of you. My boyfriend and I are moving in together next month. Any advice on being a good friend or partner to someone with OCD?
Oh, that's an interesting
Seems like
one.
Patience is kind of the thing.
Yeah. Well, my wife has been very, I mean, early on when before I even was labeled, she could kind of make fun of me, like hitting someone in the car. And that would be like, it'd be okay.
Right.
You know? But one thing I've found is that I don't want to always use OCD as my, like, I don't want to always talk about it, even though I kind of always do.
Right.
When I talk about it. But I kind of like, and that's the thing too, like on the podcast, as I made progress with emotional things, I do like to recap where I've been and explore things like that.
I think it's good. I mean, I think it's good to note progress because you notice it then. You know?
But I also think of it as material.
Sure.
So sometimes I go, oh, well, I've done my material about the.
Right.
And I thought I would have.
At worst, it's fodder.
I just thought I would have more material. I think that I have less material about myself than I think I do, and so it's something to look forward to. Actually, like to joke about therapy and.
Right.
I mean, I know everyone has done that, but it's not generic like airplane food.
Right.
But not that it should be. But when you're talking about yourself, it can be interesting. And sometimes I've missed a lot of those things because they're like OCD things or.
Right. Now you're discovering that people are willing to laugh at you.
Well, they're willing.
Right.
I like to apologize for my energy level through that last joke.
Off the cliff.
I don't know what the fuck happened.
All right.
You're going to blame it on the joint from before.
Okay. Josh and Andy, has anyone ever been starstruck to meet you, and was it more uncomfortable for you or for them? Asked Kevin. I don't know who. Yes, I have. It was always in like Mystery Science Theater context.
Yeah.
It's I just find it sort of weird and sort of cute, but it's not, I just do everything to make them feel like there's no reason to feel starstruck.
Right.
It's me.
Well, I want them to feel more starstruck than they are.
Yeah.
I try to tell them. The thing about it is, the thing about when people are really happy to meet you, there's like, it's like it always feels good, and then you always worry. I have that other side of me that's like always thinking about, don't let this fact of this person liking you mean that you're so great.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I was so, when it was like Cinematic Titanic, it's like, I understood, I mean, probably to a fault, that what they're in awe of is this thing.
Yeah.
It's not me. And it's certainly me less than the other four they just met before, So it's like, I'm just trying to not break their love of this thing.
Right.
But I never took it as me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just, partly because of the history of the show and all that, but partially because It's just that's hard to accept.
Right.
It's hard to accept in any because of what you're saying. It's like you can hear it, you can appreciate it, but if you gobble it up, it's like it's bad medicine.
Well, yeah. If you base, I mean, it's like it's a cliche, but the truth is, if you start to base your opinion of yourself on how much of that feedback you get, and
right,
and the thing is, if it creeps into your life in an insidious way that you may not even know,
right,
just like I haven't done enough.
But the biggest symptom of fame and showbiz success, the biggest ugly symptom, is the superiority complex that comes along with it. Is that people are more than willing to make you think that you are a better form of the species, You
mean the people who are being...
both the people who sort of are worshipful in their appreciation
right.
and the people around you, They tend to elevate you to this place, and you start getting all the perks of fame that you believe you deserve,
Yeah, but the one thing that always does affect me, though, is when people sincerely say they needed to laugh, and
there's great compliments.
No, I know. I wasn't understanding what you were saying.
Right.
I guess the thought of that always makes me like, oh, okay. When I feel bad about myself, that always helps.
Right.
That I know that cheered someone up.
Right.
Yeah,
but I guess here's this is part of my whole thing is like, yes, I'd love to be famous in exactly the way I want to be famous.
Right. Yes.
Which is, I want to think that if someone's a fan of me, that it would be impossible to be starstruck. You know what I mean? Like that they're a fan of me because there's a feeling of connection, not because I'm projecting leadership or trying to project leadership,
Right, but I have a lot of invested in being a nice person all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things are based on...
But it's not so people will go, Andy was nice.
But
you're generally a nice person.
I'm trying to be right, but the where it gets out of control with an OCD person is when you literally start to monitor and make sure everyone that if you get into that mode of, was that okay what I did with that person? Because then it's like no one is helped by your mind nervousness to try and please.
Right. Yeah, and it's not a good story always.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Deal or No Deal is coming to CNBC. Can you believe that?
That hurts.
They're trying to make like it's a new thing,
right.
or are they old shows?
I have no idea.
That guy needs to take a break.
He can't.
He can't
because germs settle. Ezra, I don't want to use last names for the email.
Oh, that's true.
Says, hi guys, or Josh, I guess, because I answer emails. I'm a longtime fan of Andy. I got to see him once a few years ago at the Boston Comedy Festival on a rainy Tuesday night. Luckily, he seemed to have a lot of almost uncomfortably small audience material, and he did it really well despite the turnout.
Yeah, this is I can remember that.
And finally found the podcast a few months ago. I really love the show. I've listened to probably 60 episodes, which is crazy. I know we've done 82, and tons of people have listened to all of them, but the sheer numbers kind of go, wow.
It's also reflective. It's such a cool thing, and it's also reflective of, like, I always worry because, like, I've listened to too many case file true crime in a row.
You know we're losing people every week for sure. Just even though we're gaining them too, but
right. But it's like that case file true crime. It's like, it's not his fault that I want to hear 200 shows.
Right.
It's like I have to mix it up. So it's almost like too much pressure. There's nobody who you would say that you could listen to 500 episodes of, or if there were, that'd be great. Right. But it's a lot of pressure.
We're trying to be that, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. He continues, the contrast of Andy's craziness and Josh's calmness. Andy's wacky humor and Josh's smart humor is really great.
I like that.
Yeah.
For you.
Exactly. You're a fucking idiot.
I'm like, hey, Josh, look at me. I put a grape in my nose.
Anyway, I was telling my wife about it today, about how I've listened to these two guys talk about not much for maybe 100 hours over the past few months, and she had a hard time understanding. I tried to explain Andy, and she asked if he was playing a character. It got me wondering how much like the Andy we see in his stand-up and on podcasts is the real Andy when he's not being recorded. I imagine he can't have that same level of energy all the time, can he? I hope this is a good place to submit questions. I don't tweet.
I think that's very
Thanks
cool.
for all the free entertainment. Keep up the good work.
Well, the thing is that I'm not
It's not really for
I'm
him.
the same person. I am the same person. It's all the same person, but the need to perform.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I would say he's pretty damn close to how he is on the podcast. He's not like he is on stage. There's a
Oh, that makes that
because I've been on stage with you,
Oh,
and
that
it's a
makes
palpably
sense.
different energy.
Yeah.
It's much more needy.
Hi, everybody. Hey, hey, wait. Yeah.
It's just a mode, you know. You get
It's
into
a mode,
you know.
but
so-
it is the same person.
well, of
pretty much.
course, but it's the same. It's the same.
But that's a given, probably.
Both characters have the same thought process, essentially, but way different energy.
Right. And the podcast thing is
Somewhere in between.
somewhere
But-
in between, and everything depends on how self-aware I am. Sometimes.
George says, Twitter makes trolls. Proof. Superfans Yoshi and Perush have started trolling you.
No.
I'm sure that those of us who rely on email are always polite and never get trolly. You should totally abandon the Twitter feed and only pay attention to your real fans here on email.
Well,
I imagine that there's some incredibly legitimate reason for using Twitter, like it makes Josh's life easier to not have to sort through emails. Bingo! Regardless, us emailers are cooler, proven by words like cooler and emailers, and deserve greater representation on the show.
I think this guy.
On the free show that you do for your own friendship, he actually said.
Well, here's the thing. Who was that?
George.
He is absolutely. There's two things I love about this. You get a different kind of vibe to someone who emails you.
Right.
It's more of a commitment.
Right. Just by the reading aloud.
Right. But the thing is that also the whole vibe is more interesting in a way. And also it means that I would never have to read anything and be all on the show. So I couldn't miss. I feel bad that I don't read more emails.
You know what I feel bad about?
You
is
saying
that I
it.
just stopped talking instead of making a snoring noise there.
That's true. That's true.
Hi, guys.
I'm able to exit out of my mediocrity.
Matt says, "Hi guys, my wife and I decided to name one of our rescue cats Andy Catler. Thanks for the and he sent pictures too.
That's so cool.
Very cute orangey cat. Thanks for the great podcast. Hey guys, have either of you ever had trouble with iCloud? There's always a problem with mine. Yes.
I don't have much problem with iCloud.
I kind of do. Sometimes it's working. Sometimes things are talking. Sometimes they're not in my world.
It's a weird world.
Sometimes emails go one way.
I don't like that Apple is always trying to get you into something like Apple Music. So it's always a thing.
Yeah. It's a scam, man. That's how they get you.
It's not a scam. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear this song? Yes, I wanted to pay for this song right now. You sure you don't want Apple Music? They dissuade you from being able to buy an album.
Yes, because they'd much rather have you pay a monthly fee.
Well, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't
I do know
born
what you're
yesterday.
saying. Fuck them is what you're going to say.
Yeah, are you
And then
paying a monthly fee?
What?
Are you paying a monthly fee?
Not to Apple.
Are you a genius? Are you a genius?
Well, yeah, I'm a genius, but not in Apple's eyes.
But does your genius, my genius results seem stupid. Are they really studying all of my? Because they're basically saying maybe you'd like The Cure. No, I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm 100% in agreement with that. The sentiment of anything that makes me have an excuse.
That was Jeff who asked the iCloud question, and he had a second thing, which was, have you heard the new Elvis Costello album, and have you seen the movie Straight to Hell with Elvis Costello? The second part, no, I haven't seen Straight to Hell, and yes, I have heard the new Elvis Costello album.
And what do you think?
I liked it. It's not, doesn't have a major spark to it.
Oh.
I've heard the album a couple times through, and then I heard him play everything live. And
how was the concert in general?
the concert was good. It wasn't great. His voice was a little bit out of sorts, but he still played for like 2.5 hours, which was long.
And was everyone with him? The usual Pete Thomas and those guys?
It was Elvis and the Imposters, which is the Attractions with a different bass player.
Oh.
And now he's got 2 backup singers as well, which totally changes the sound of a lot of songs.
In a good way or in a way that you're thinking?
Both.
Interesting. Oh.
It's kind of his set is kind of starting to feel Dylan-ish.
That's interesting.
That
I can
never-ending
see
tour
that.
kind of Dylan-ish, where sometimes he fucks with songs to not good effect,
Right.
but he's just bored, and then sometimes he finds something new that's good, but there's also just this kind of like tinkering to tinker.
It sounds like you're reviewing the new Sandler thing.
Yeah, I have medium enthusiasm for just about everything. I think we're done for the night. That's a lot of questions.
I think we did a good. I like the email question. I like the direction the show's going, and I feel we're both really working hard, and we care about people.
I think that's really at the core of it all. Is just,
yes.
I think our love of everyone listening shines through with every podcast.
Plus, I had this new thing where I don't hear what you're saying, but like I'm looking directly at you.
I see that. It's really good.
No, I'm doing it right now.
Right, I know.
Doesn't it look like I'm listening?
It does. You look like Charlie Brown,
no
and
idea.
I'm the teacher going.
You know what separates me and you? That you have the energy and the technique to be able to make that sound.
That's beautiful of me.
If you want to write to us, you made the funniest face. You did this. I wish you could see that. Write to us at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com.
That's right.
Oh my God. It's like asking an idiot finally gets his address right.
And hey, it's Christmas time. Who doesn't like some Thought Spiral swag for Christmas?
I like that shirt. I love that two
Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours.
I can't believe that's not flying off. First of all, I don't want it to fly off the shelf. God forbid that Alex Brazell should make $3. Yes, but we
go to Zazzle.com.
Yes.
/thought_spiral and check out our merch.
And I will be. When's this show coming out?
This is coming out the 9th-ish.
Like I'm going to be at Largo with Amy Mann and Ted Leo doing I'm doing Scrooge or a character or something.
And when?
I think it's the 15th and 16th.
Cool. That's this coming weekend. It's working well. That's good.
Oh, wait a second. No,
it's all right.
No. They slated this around the movie.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, they're like Bruce made sure I'd be back in town for this.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so that makes sense because I'm coming back for my surgery on the 13th.
I can't believe it. The next time, don't jinx it. Anyway, I love you very much. I can't end shows. I don't like to end shows. I hate the idea of the ending of the show. See, I would go with that because it's a callback.